Morning everyone. Today I want to dissect the promotional campaign for my world record ninja marathon attempt in the aid of Phabkids. So it is a very fresh Friday morning. It's about 5 degrees and it's very nice, it's clear, it's not too windy, but it's so we've discussed all things marketing. Today I want to do a kind of deep dive into the promotional campaign that we ran, which was the Raising Awareness Challenge for the charity Phabkids, using my world record marathon attempt as a bit of a publicity stunt to try and hook some viewage, if that's the right word. So first and foremost, the highlights. What did we actually achieve? Well, it was a 10-day promotion campaign, and we was aiming to live stream the whole event, and in the end we had to break it down into 3 parts because of technical issues which had pretty severe consequences, which I'll talk to you about in just a second. Just going past someone, 1 second. Morning. So we split into 3 sections because of technical issues, and that ultimately knocked the momentum. But what did we achieve in terms of total views, total shares, total engagements? Well, it was still pretty impressive as far as I was concerned, knowing what the potential would have been, because on the first live stream video we managed to get, it was 4,500 views after an hour, and we had 114 shares, and our target was always to get 100 shares because we believed that would give us the starting momentum to get some traction, to start getting some hopefully some viral reach. It was really starting to go that way. Bear in mind, the total live stream would have been 3 hours and 55 minutes. It would have had plenty of time to kind of ramp up the number of views. But then we lost power with the huge amount of issues with the wet weather and getting into all the tech, and some of the tech cutting out early, the battery packs weren't working, all these annoying things that kind of happen. So then we went live on a second stream, which was a short kind of 30-minute stream, which to be fair didn't really get too much reach or engagement. But then the final stream, which is when we went back on my original phone, on my original profile, we had, I think, 2,000 plus views and somewhere in the region of 500 engagements, which was pretty impressive, and several more shares. So if you combine it all together, I think we totaled maybe 6,500 to 7,000 views. I think we had about nearly 200 shares. I think we had 600 odd comments, and I think there was like 700 or 800 actual engagements in terms of likes or loves. And overall, that's pretty impressive, considering it was broken. The stream was broken on a couple of occasions. So I think, and bear in mind, when you've lost a stream and somebody has shared, it's really difficult to go back to them and get them to share it again. It doesn't really happen. It's quite spammy. So a lot of our shares has happened on the first live stream. So I think, all in all, I was pretty impressed. I think we got some really engaging content out there. I think we raised a lot of awareness for the charity. So yeah, pretty impressed. But so what can we do better, and what could we do? What would we do differently? Before that, what was the next steps? Well, the next steps is I've downloaded all the footage. I've got my video editor on it, who's creating kind of a highlight reel. One for kind of an entertaining type Ninja World Record attempt style promo video, and the second, which is just capturing all the key points where we're talking about the charity, so the charity can have it. And we're going to put some ad spend behind it. Not a lot, about £100 in total, which is like a donation to the charity, additional donation to the charity, which will be pushing it out to as many people as possible, so we can try and get some more reach for the charity as a follow-up. And it'll be interesting to see what £100 can get you in terms of reach. So I'll update you on when we're doing that, and should be probably kicking off next week, and I'll let you know what we kind of got in terms of engagement, etc. from it. So that's the kind of next steps, to see how we can and we'll be repurposing this content multiple times in the future. So it's really cool to kind of get all that content and downloaded and secured and available for use in the future. So then now going back to dissecting what actually happened, what we did well and what we didn't do well. Well, we'd started a 10-day, or probably 9 when we actually got into it, of a promotional campaign. I think ideally 14 days would have been better, possibly. I don't think we had enough time. I think maybe even a month out would have been more preferred. Now, from the promotional stuff with connections that we already have, I think it was fine. You know, we were sending out, we created the event, we were posting lots of stories about the event, we were driving people to register as interest for the event every day, and we were providing little updates on what was being done on the day. And that was fine, but I think where we needed a bit longer was to nurture the collaborations. Now, I refer to this from Russell Brunson, the podcast, one of the key marketing gurus who I follow, and he calls it the Dream 100 list, which is the collaborations. If we started this that month out, we could have really got into more deeper into the Dream 100. And what I mean by that is we could have ultimately managed to nurture several bigger connections that would have ultimately given us significantly more reach by them sharing it rather than just a connection who's already connected with me, or a smaller connection. So I think that's what we would have done differently initially, definitely. The number of getting people to like or say they're interested or going to an event is quite challenging. I think we managed to get maybe 150 odd before the actual event, which was good, but we were always aiming for 100, so that at least 100, so that we could be really working on those during the live stream to try and get the shares that we needed. So I think that worked quite well, having some targets. We did put some maths into why we said 100 shares, and we looked at historical posts and the impact of shares against posts and tried to work out a little bit of an algorithm, and the target was 100 for us, based on sending out 500 or so messages to try and get some extra push. 20% conversion rate would give us 100 shares, which is where we kind of got that from, and also the impact of what each share can do on a post in terms of making something go viral. So there was a little bit of logic went into it. So we were posting every day. I think I would change the promotional content a little bit for next time and make it more story based and map it out in a storyboard format, because I found that even though you have to say the same message over and over again to kind of drive at home what we're doing, I felt that a lot of the content I was creating in the build-up was quite repetitive, and I think we could have done a few things differently to make that work. I don't think I used the outfit to its full potential in the promotional build-up. I think that would have gauged a lot more interest. We did do a few lives. I think the lives could have been probably planned out a little bit better. I just feel that I think we got the volume of content about right, but I think we could have planned what went into the content. I found myself repeating stuff and doing kind of stuff off the cuff, in terms of content delivery, which is fine. But I think with a bit more time and planning, we could have planned it slightly better. We then, once we get in close, we were then asking lots of people to share the event. I think we should have been doing that earlier and pushing for shares of the event, because that would have got a much bigger reach in terms of the promotional, pre-event stuff. And we should have been driving for shares pre and during, and we'll certainly be driving for shares post. I think shares are the number one focus that we've kind of got. Obviously, engagement on a thread is super important, but I think shares are what gives you the best chance of getting something out to a viral audience. So on the day, I think me and Dan, we planned everything out really, really well. I think the issue was the support team turned up on the morning, not having had any training or our expectations of what we're doing. We sent out some itinerary, but there's no substitute for doing a little test run. We should have got them here the day before doing a test run rather than me and Dan doing it, where Dan was always going to be back office. So yeah, that was a little bit frustrating. So I think had we have done that, I think the tech issues wouldn't have been as vast as they were, and we perhaps could have salvaged the one stream. So lessons to be learned from that. I think moving forwards, I think you need one person responsible for tech. There's too many people dealing with the tech side of things, and I think that's ultimately contributed to the problem. If one person took ownership of it, I think it would have been better. So the tech role, when you're doing something like this, tech role is important. You need a kind of a mechanic when you're taking bikes and stuff out on the road, but from a marketing perspective, you're always going to need somebody who knows tech inside and out, and has multiple contingencies for different scenarios so that they can solve stuff, on the go. And I think we had 2 or 3 people who knew a little, but not somebody who kind of could take ownership of that, and that's something that we need to implement moving forwards. The messaging to get people to share the event in the days up to the so just to summarise, not the cold messaging, the kind of cold call messaging. It's not cold because they're all connections, but messaging people, keep people in a contacts list was really, really important, and that got a lot of shares, a lot of likes, a lot of reach. And I think, again, if we're doing it correctly, you get penalised for doing it too many a day. So again, if we started out a month before, we could really had a strategic number of people we would have sent messages to on a daily basis to maximise our allowance and also maximise the output from people who are helping support and push it out there further. So I think that's something to that as well. I think on the day, everything was going really well on the first live stream. All our big collaborators were sharing it and pushing it for us, and lots and lots of shares. I mean, to get over 100 shares in the first hour, 4,500 views, that would have ended up with tens of thousands of views had we managed to keep that live stream going. I've no doubt of that. So I don't think we did too much wrong, and I think we salvaged the situation pretty well. Dan did from a back office perspective to still get best part of a couple of thousand views on the second stream and 500 odd comments was and to get everybody kind of switched over to the new stream was really impressive. So I think there's a contingency planning aspect of it that actually worked there. So I was pleased with that. But overall, I think hopefully that's given you a bit of a deep dive into what we did and why we did it and the results that we got. What worked, what didn't work, what we do differently. And Dan's on holiday at the moment, he's back next week. We'll certainly be having some sessions together where we critique this and analyse it. We've got it all documented, but we'll tweak and iterate it for the next one we do, which won't be for a while yet, don't worry. But I think it was a really worthwhile exercise, and I'll also update you in the future in terms of what this £100 of ad spend, what we can actually reach and generate from that. So I'll be updating you on that over the coming weeks. So that's pretty much it from me today. But as always, if you've got any questions, just drop me a comment and I'll respond to everyone. If it's a bigger topic, I'll do a separate blog episode and tag you in. If this isn't of any interest to you, just unfriend, unfollow me. But do check out the Facebook Runpreneur group or my YouTube channel, Kevin Britton Runpreneur, whereby 130 or so blog episodes now are catalogued nicely by topic. So it's a nice free resource that you might find useful at some point in the future. And as always, the blog was set up to help entrepreneurs overcome stress, anxiety and overwhelm, and how you can use exercise as a release mechanism to keep you on the right path to where you're going as an entrepreneur. So that's my passion, and if you need any help or you want to reach out to somebody, please feel free to do so. That's what I'm setting out to try and do for the greater good. So that's it for me today. As always, stay positive, stay happy, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.